Hey, so we're in the studio day with Darcy Nutt and Chad Remains from Uzala. How are you guys doing?
Great, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Having a good morning so far?
So far, so good.
Cool. Well, yeah, I was bringing you in today to talk about some of the new upcoming things that you guys have been doing with your band. And I was just curious what some of your influences that maybe somebody wouldn't expect you to have, like not even music, just like I know your band's named after a movie in a way. So is there anything with that that's had to do with some influences for you guys?
Do you want to start with this one?
Sure. It is named after a movie. It's named after Deersuit Uzala. It's an Akira Kurosawa movie. It's just a really cool movie. You should watch it.
It is an awesome movie.
End of story. That's why it's named that. Influences, I think that we like a wide variety of genres of music. And I don't know. I'd like to think that it doesn't really sound like any one particular thing, but I think that the influences within it are kind of obvious. Like, I think there's some Celtic frost in there. There's a little, help me out here.
Isengard.
A little Isengard.
Pentagram, U.S. Pentagram. Black Sabbath, of course. And then oftentimes when you're thinking of a riff, sometimes we'll think of like, how would Dark Throne do it, and then do it wrongly, and then say, yep, that's where it came from anyway.
Definitely Bathory, for me, hugely so, especially vocally.
I can see that.
And some of the more chant-like drone, not drone, but the more repetitive sort of riffs that kind of keep it going in a sort of a folk song kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Dust, David Bowie, which would be kind of, I think, unexpected, but probably only the Mick Ronson era David Bowie, so real specific. Not the Labyrinth era David Bowie.
Nobody's going all crazy.
But then also other things too, like just lonely roads driving through the desert and mountains,
cool,
things of that nature.
Awesome. And then I heard that you guys are going on your fall tour. Where are you guys going to be going, and like how long is that one going to be?
October. That'll be 3 weeks out. We don't do long tours. We have too much good stuff at home to stay out for that long, and we just don't care to be out for that long, mostly. But October we'll start with Fall into Darkness tour in Portland, work our way through the middle of the country, through Lawrence, Kansas, and et cetera, up to the northeast to Maine, back down through Baltimore for Autumn Screams Doom Festival, then down through the south, through Texas, and then back home.
Awesome. And who else are you going to be touring with? Anybody, or you're just meeting up with different bands along the way that you guys know to play with? I've
been talking to a couple of different bands, talking to Royal Thunder, talked to Yob, talked to Loss. Ephemeros dropped out because of Chris is having a baby, so that won't work for them to be out. But mostly just meeting with bands along the way and doing small mini tours inside of the tour.
Like what you did in the last one when you guys went around with Paul Bearer for a little while?
Mm-hmm.
Just 2 shows.
Cool. So just like kind of the same thing?
Yep.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll do a West Coast tour sometime this summer with Ephemeros.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like going back down through the Bay Area and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, because we love Oakland.
Oakland is a pretty fun place to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. And cool. So your new album's coming out?
Yeah, you don't know when.
Don't know when, but...
I'm assuming that it's going to be approximately June. Right now we're in the mixing process, and then we'll approve that, and then masters, approve that, then off to the record pressing plant. There are no plans for a CD or any other formats, only going to be vinyl so far. I don't have anything against the other formats, just that we always seek a vinyl release first, and King of the Monsters Records from Scottsdale, Arizona is going to handle that pressing.
Cool. And I know that the style changed a little bit from the last album. Like, what were some of the ways that you guys kind of did that to mature the band's sound?
Well, I think the main difference is that Chad and I single-handedly wrote all the songs on this album, and most of that really just has to do with the fact that the other half of our band lives in Portland. So we did all the songwriting and then got together with our other bandmates and learned them from there. So it just inherently has kind of a different sound, whereas, you know, previously Steve would help us write songs.
Yeah.
It was a very collaborative kind of thing and very gradual. You just work on each song a little bit each time, and then these songs were, being just Chad and I, they're just written in a very different manner. I think they're a lot more fluid and continuous and
concise and all kind of coming from the same place.
yeah, because they come from the same place, they really all go together.
Yeah, like on the last album, like how Tim helped you out on the drums for War Drums, and then there was Steve's stuff and Blake helping out. So it's just more you guys this time doing it all?
Well,
Yeah, no guest artists on
No
this
guest
one.
artists.
And then having Chuck on drums is a huge change. He really is a drum monster instead of just a drummer.
He destroys
he's-
cymbals.
Yeah,
and
he's like
it's-
Animal from the Muppets or Keith Moon from The Who. Just absolute fury on drums.
Awesome. And so there's a new album artist this time. You're not doing the album art?
Right.
And who's doing that?
Tony R. did the cover,
Awesome.
so we're stoked. It looks rad.
Yeah, he's done a lot of work for bands. He's worked with Electric Wizard and Graves at Sea, a ton of bands. So his stuff looks great. New Conan record he did. So we're real excited about that. And then Darcy's going to do snapshots, basically drawings of influences from each song, a scene from the songs. So that'll be a different approach too. So we'll have
Just
more
for the
to
inner
look at.
save, though.
Yeah. Awesome. So just like little things that just kind of give you a visual representation of like some of the things that are happening in the songs.
They're big. They're big pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be full format size, 12 by 12.
Awesome. Cool. And I know you guys went up to Seattle to record it. What studio did you guys go to?
Witch Ape. It's Tad Doyle's studio. He's kind of a Boise legend. He grew up around here, and then in '86 he moved to Seattle to form the band Tad, which was a pretty big deal around 1990 or so, when Nirvana was busy getting gigantic. They were doing about the same thing on a slightly smaller level. And he was great to work with. He's an amazing drummer, so he got killer drum sounds, and then just everything was a pleasure to work with him for 6 days.
Awesome.
And I think he got the best out of us, which is really the best you can hope for recording, is to have someone that can work with you rather than saying, all right, get to work.
Yeah,
So-
like actually helping out.
Yeah, he's a fun dude to work with.
Yeah.
That probably made it a lot easier and like fun to do it as well.
I think it came out a lot more inspired, for sure, because he's so easygoing about everything. You know, I've had problems recording my vocals in the past because I'm really loud and I'm really quiet and I have a lot of dynamics going on with that. And so most recording engineers are like, can you sing that quieter, or can you stand back? You know, stuff like that. And he was like, just go for it, which was very liberating.
Yeah, and helped you guys out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you guys are reissuing the self-titled album again as well?
Yeah, this one was originally done by At War with False Noise out of Glasgow, Scotland. So the logistics behind that one were very difficult to work with a label that's not even in the same country. And then, so King of the Monsters, again, from Scottsdale, Arizona, is going to do a deluxe reissue of the vinyl. They're going to include the 12-inch single that was the counterpart to this, that's from the same sessions, the Blake Green Visual Arts Collective sessions.
It basically just didn't fit on one piece of vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah, you can only squeeze 21 minutes on a side, so we had more than that, so we had to put out a separate piece, and then he's going to put it together all as one package, so it'll be a deluxe super spine record and all
Awesome.
that. So
That'll be super cool. When's that one going to be all finished up?
it should be within a month or two.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, pretty quick.
So that'll be all back out again.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then, what are some of you guys' future plans? I've heard you guys talking about traveling to Europe.
We would love to play Europe. I think we've had really good reception, especially in the northern part of Europe. We've talked to a couple of bands from England and a couple of bands from France and Finland, and so if we could get over and share some equipment, share some time on stages, we'd love to play, 3 days in Finland, 3 days in Sweden.
That would be awesome.
Try to do 3 weeks in Europe, I think, and that would be really great.
We don't know when, though. I mean, it would be cooler if it was next spring,
Yeah.
but it depends on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm trying to set some contacts up now to make that happen.
Cool. And any of the, just general philosophy behind how you guys look at the band and what's made you guys kind of do what you do?
What exactly, I mean...
I think that we try to approach things from the old-fashioned way of doing things. We don't want to rely on technology too much to make our sounds. Pretty much everything from the guitar all the way through the sounds to the amplifiers, most everything is handmade, sometimes by me, sometimes by friends. Use a lot of black arts, Toneworks, but we try to stay away from digital or kind of fake sounding crap and keep to real drum sounds, real guitar sounds. Basically, if you were to put us in a time transport back to 1972, we'd feel very comfortable there.
Awesome. And using the vintage gear and everything too, and trying to seek out that type of stuff and not buy the new Chinese made kind of crappier stuff.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no digital shit ever.
Yeah, and knowing exactly what's going to give you the sound you want and not just trying to have something else mimic the sound more or less is kind of something that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, we make all of our sounds ourselves, and so we want to have, a human being along the line, making these things, So I think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
You could probably find a computer program to do it. Honestly, they're getting really good at this stuff, but I just have no interest in it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, welcome back to the studio with Chad and Darcy from Uzala. Cut a little short there and got back from a clip, and we're going to talk about seeing some of their thoughts about live shows and why they might not play live shows as often as some of the other bands.
People ask us a lot, hey, can you play next Tuesday at, my granddaughter's birthday party or whatever. Actually, that never happens. But the short answer is that half of the band doesn't live in town. Only Darcy and I are here, and so for us to do a live show requires quite a bit of strategy to make it happen. So we're usually 2-3 months out at the earliest to make all the planning.
It's got to be a really special show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're
Somebody
just
cool's coming to
To
town.
make it worth it, yeah.
And yeah, it's simply not interesting to us to play every single week.
It's not interesting to anybody else either.
Hearing the same thing over and over
Yeah.
again.
You know how it is, dude. Like, even your friends don't come if you play,
Yeah.
every week. So.
Like, didn't they just do these
I'll get you
songs
next
in that
time.
same order yesterday?
Yeah.
So it's not terribly interesting. I would rather keep writing, and then when we do play live, we have new material for people, can introduce them to some different sounds. Don't want to see people yawning and walking out. I'm not interested in that at all. I would rather not play live at all than to have that happen. So don't
Having
yawn.
people psyched on coming to the show instead of putting it off and like, I can just go see it next week.
Yeah, and make it a special event. Like, hey, Yob is here from a tour, or they're headed over to the East Coast to do a tour with Tool, for instance. This is the only show that they're going to play this year in Boise. Makes it more special.
Yeah. And knowing them and having fun playing with a band that you guys enjoy playing with each other.
Yeah.
It always seems nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Cool. And then with that, so is there any certain way you guys do your writing process of new material, or when you're doing things, or how that goes?
It depends a lot on the song. The songs kind of write themselves in that, sometimes I'll just be playing guitar and a riff will start to happen. I'll just kind of carve at the riff and chisel at this, kind of formless block until it's actually a riff. And then that riff usually leads itself to another riff. So the songs write themselves.
You know that game that you play when you tell a story, you begin a story, and then you go, and then your friend picks it up and tells
Yeah.
it? That's kind of how we did a lot of that last album. Chad would be
Okay.
like, I worked on this riff, and I like it, and I'll be like, yeah, I like that too. And then he'll keep playing it for a while, and then I'll be like, stop, and then I'll start playing what I think should go next.
Okay.
So that's kind of a fun way to do it.
That's kind of how you do that in between your recordings and touring and everything.
Yeah.
So just whenever you guys
When
have
we have
your
time.
space of free time that you can do that.
Yeah, and we do kind of separate the time into different blocks. Like, there's definitely a time when we're just writing songs and we're not working on any live shows. And then there's times when we're working on doing live shows. For instance, we're doing that Tree Fort Festival on the 21st with Wolf Serpent, Menace Ruin, and Earth, which I've wanted to open for Earth for 20 years, and here it is.
Came to Boise.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. So right now, we just finished up recording, so that was a separate block of time. Now we're going to do this live stuff. We're planning on all this live stuff, and then once all the planning for the live stuff is done, then we'll start writing again. And so it definitely has its own time for that. We don't have, we're not at the level of live band where we're staying in hotels with, brought my 4-track and I'm just going to sit here with these beer napkins and a guitar and write a bunch of love songs, I'm on my way home, baby, like that kind of crap, it's not going to happen.
Oh, that's pretty good.
anytime. Hey, thanks.
Maybe you guys should bring a 4-track and write some love songs on tour.
It's not out of the question.
So you just pretty much in the chunks throughout the time, just focus on one certain thing.
I think
not
it works.
Try to focus on 3 things at once.
Yeah, I think it
3
works
songs?
best for us.
No, they're just touring, playing
Oh,
live,
yeah, we already
and
have
then
enough shit
recording or
to-
writing new stuff, just keeping it
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
locked
yeah,
down.
and since we're a completely DIY band, you know, I don't have a booking agent that does this for me. I do it.
Yeah.
I contact the club. I contact the bands. I contact, you know, people in those different towns. So it's there's. I have so much to do during that time that it wouldn't occur to me to like walk away from the phone and email and stuff and then pick up my guitar and just write a new song because my brain is too simple for that. So I just stay on task and get the tour booked.
All right.
So.
Cool. And then have you guys been doing any other sort of interview stuff, getting your name out there anywhere else? Like,
Yeah, there will be an interview with in Terrorizer magazine coming up soon, which is great. It's the world's biggest heavy metal magazine,
Awesome.
so it's never a bad thing to have your name mentioned in print in the world's biggest heavy metal magazine. But we've gotten a lot of reviews that were really positive at first, and that feels really nice when we put out the demo and the first record. But I was kind of nervous because we hadn't had any bad reviews yet. And then the US's biggest metal magazine, Decibel, absolutely hated the record.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely just shit on it from a very high height. And
It's pretty
and that
awesome.
was great.
Yeah.
I was actually happy about that because if you are making everyone happy, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. You can't make metal music and make everyone happy. Then you're not doing it right, in my opinion. There has to be a dividing line where someone says this is crap,
Yeah.
and they just walk away from it.
The worst thing that could happen is that people are like, yeah, that band, they're pretty good, like that.
take it or leave
Yeah,
it.
take it or leave it. Like a strong response is better. Like I
Yeah.
love it or I hate it, and I think that's.
Well, that's good that that's the kind of responses you got.
Yeah,
You're not
that's
all
better.
bummed out about a bad
Yeah.
one and looking at it as like, well, this is what it needs to be. And at least somebody does not like it, and not just like,
That's cool. Everybody's not supposed to like
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
awesome. And then you guys did a split with Mala Suerte, which is this one. And where did you guys record that? And was that done in Texas or?
No, Mala Suerte did all of their side in Texas. The cover art for Mala Suerte's side was done by Gary Rosas, the singer, main writer for Mala Suerte. And then the cover art for our side was done by the lovely Darcy. And this song is one of the ones that just came to us really quickly. Like I was saying earlier, it almost wrote itself. There was a few riffs, and then it was just like bang, bang, bang. Hey, there's a 5-minute song. Great. We recorded this one. It was the last recording we did with Steve Gear on drums.
At the Type Foundry in Portland,
Yeah,
okay.
Type Foundry in Portland, exactly.
with Alex.
Alex Yusimov at the helm.
What's the name of this?
Pool Studios is his studio.
Pool
We did some guitar overdubs at his studio.
Right.
Yeah, everything was really fast with that one, which is nice. But then the split was put out by again King of the Monsters.
Okay.
It was kind of I think it was kind of a test for him and for us to see if we could work together well. He put out 100 of the half black white split records and then 400 on black, and they're almost gone. So apparently it worked out pretty well.
That's awesome that they're selling out super quick for you guys. Like, and you're already reissuing the self-titled one, so that seems like a good thing that that's coming out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do. I think he's doing 500 of the reissue with the bonus 12-inch. The original pressing was very limited. There was 333 of them.
And it was very expensive, especially like in the U.S. because of having to have it shipped overseas
Yeah.
and stuff. So it'll be nice to have the U.S. Distribution.
not as much money going into it, so you can
I
have
think it'll be better
a little more going
for
out.
those who want it, you know.
Well, yeah, it makes it easier for somebody to pick it up rather than having to pay $35 for it, which is ludicrous to pay for a record. But because it was so expensive to make and to ship and everything, that is why. But like there was a couple of them at the record exchange, and they were for $30, and no one wanted to pay that for a local
voice
band.
are like-
A local band.
yeah.
Like, who the hell do they think they are? Yeah.
Because we got it printed and shipped from another country.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, the gear you guys has used, we talked a little bit about it before, but I know you like making your own pedals. Is there any sort of focus you do on that, or?
I haven't been doing it very much lately. I would like to get into a little bit more. I kind of backed out of it a little bit once I made a deal with Black Arts Toneworks. His stuff is just so much better than mine. I just kind of stopped doing making my own pedals, but I've got some boards at home that I need to make up, and I mostly just get them to friends and use them myself. Just it's nice to be able to get a circuit for something from 1968 that you could never afford to buy, build it and try it out and go, you know, that sounds really great.
It is the sound I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. And is that just goes back to more of like how you get the sound you guys want, and of being able to build them and not just buying something and knowing exactly what you're gonna get?
Yeah, and to be able to fix it when it's broken. When you get this new crap, it's surface mounted delicate parts, and if something breaks, you just open it up and you're like, well, what the hell is going on in here? Like, it's these little tiny things that are as small as a flea. You can't do anything with it. So if you build your own thing, you can go, clearly this is what's broken. I can remove it, put in a new one, and it's fine. So
Yeah, and kind of dial in your own tone that you want with everything.
I don't feel like I'm relying on someone else as much. Like, I can make my own sounds.
Yeah. And I also heard that you guys are now a 3-piece. Is that gonna change any of the music you guys are recording or the way that you guys are gonna be playing?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how long, if we decide to permanently stay a 3-piece or what. It's kind of a new thing. It's changed how we've had to currently play, the songs just a little bit though, but I'm kind of making up for the lack of bass. So I've changed my tone a bit, brought it down.
Okay.
Simplified some parts that I play, or, gotten a little more intricate on other parts just to make up for it.
Just for the time being, so you guys can still be able to play live for the shows that are coming up?
Or maybe it'll just stay that way.
We kind of like how it sounds because I sing, which is kind of unusual for a doom band to have a female singer that sings as opposed to screams, And so we have a volume issue live. So it's kind of nice to have one instrument gone so you can actually hear me.
So it's helping out with hearing the vocals
It is
a little bit better?
I think for just, for live,
Yeah.
it is helpful. But we're pretty easygoing. We go with the flow.
Yeah.
So whatever happens with the band, bass player, no bass player, half the band in another city, not whatever, we'll just go with it. But we'll always continue to write music and play. So.
That's awesome. So at least that hasn't affected anything, and you guys are still pushing along.
Oh yeah.
And do you know if he's going to not be there for the tour? Or you're going to be doing that as a 3-piece?
Yeah.
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 That'll be different for everybody to hear that's heard you're on the last one maybe, than coming back as a 3-piece and seeing
Less
the
crap
differences.
to carry.
I think, I think what you said there too is they will be able to hear the difference.
Yeah.
It's going to make it much more clear. People won't be walking out as confused or bludgeoned with volume as before, so that will be different. We'll see if people like it or not. It's up to them to decide.
Awesome. And since Chuck started in the band, has he changed any of the drumming styles? I know you were saying earlier that he's just an animal, but has he moved the drumming styles or any of that in a different way, just having a new flair on it?
Oh, very much so. It's hard to describe though. It's just two people play drums completely differently. But he's very loud, I'll say that much. but he has really great fills and puts different emphases on different parts of the songs. And being that this album was written with him, you know, it's very much him too.
Awesome. So that gave it the kind of maybe new part of the sound when you guys were recording from the last album, making it a little bit different, just like more mature in its sound of like you got everything kind of solidified of how you want it. Cool. And yeah, we gotta wrap it on up. But thanks again.
Thank you.
I totally appreciate it. I'll do the ending again. So I don't have to edit it all weird. Cool. Well, thanks a lot for coming in, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.